What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Jagan Gaming. So roughly a day ago, Heat Blur Simulations finally released their F-14 trailer, and my god, it was amazing. This trailer, no joke, made me feel like the same little kid that was sitting in the theater watching Top Gun for the first time. Okay, a lot of us have been waiting for this trailer. It's finally here, and they did not disappoint. You can tell Heat Blur really took their time with this. I know they've been working on this module for roughly, I believe, 4 years, give or take. I could be wrong on that. But just looking at this trailer, you can tell they pulled all the stops out. I mean, the detail on this is just phenomenal. Believe it or not, and I don't know if this, maybe my eyes are just bad, but there were certain parts of that trailer where I couldn't tell if I was looking at gameplay or if I was looking at, you know, an actual real life F-14 in flight. Okay, I was looking, you know, am I looking at gameplay or is this file footage? So, you know, I'm a military brat. I grew up on Air Force, Navy, Army bases. And when I was, I believe, a sophomore in high school, my family lived at Subic Bay in the Philippines. That was the last year that those bases in the Philippines were open. And we used to live at Clark Air Force Base, which was the largest Air Force base outside the continental United States. So as a kid, I was used to F-4s, F-15s, F-16s, and various other Air Force aircraft. It's part of the reason why I'm an aviation enthusiast and why I have a bachelor's degree in aeronautics, because I grew up around aircraft. You know, I grew up with these aircraft flying over the house, and the house would always shake anytime an aircraft flew over, because, you know, it was a fighter base and they had a lot of other aircraft there as well. But when my parents told me that we were moving to Subic Bay, which is a naval installation, instead of F-15s and F-16s, now they're F-14s, A-6 Intruders, F-18s, A-4 Skyhawks, and various other naval aircraft that I was not used to. And I didn't really like Subic Bay compared to Clark Air Force Base, but I loved seeing an F-14. Now keep in mind, I'm a sophomore in high school, and there's this F-14 in a left-handed bank in full burner flying over my high school. Okay, that is an amazing sight when you see that, especially as a kid. Okay, now the other thing about this module is that about a month ago, I believe Heat Blur announced that this module was going to include the A6E Intruder and the KA-6D Tanker. Unfortunately, these aircraft are AI aircraft, so they're not going to be playable, but a lot of us are keeping our fingers crossed, and hopefully sometime in the immediate future, Heat Blur will announce that those aircraft will become flyable. Okay. What would be even better, just to me, if they had the EA-6B Prowler, because I don't believe DCS has a dedicated electronic countermeasures aircraft. I think that would be great if they could get that as well. I do believe it has to deal with copyright. These aircraft actually belong to Northrop Grumman, even though both of those aircraft are since retired. And don't quote me on that. I don't know how, you know, copyright and patents and all that stuff works when it comes to this kind of stuff. But they have to have at least some kind of permission, because they at least have the AI in the game. So they have to have some kind of permission to use it. So hopefully down the road sometime they will announce that the A6 Intruder is going to become a playable aircraft. So really keep my eyes, you know, keep my fingers crossed, my eyes open for that. Now this is going to be a problem, I think, for a lot of other third-party developers. Heat Blur Simulations, I believe they separated from Leatherneck Simulations. Leatherneck did the MiG-21 simulation, and I believe I don't remember if they did the F-5 or is the Harrier that they did, but they did phenomenal jobs with that. Heat Blur separated from them for various reasons. I honestly don't know why. And they did the vegan, and don't quote me on that. I believe they did the vegan. Maybe Leatherneck did that one as well. But regardless of who did what, they have set a standard for third-party developers in the DCS community. when you look at the articulation and the detail, like in the cockpit, just look at how detailed that cockpit is. And there were certain pictures that you can find online where it looks like it's an actual picture of an F-14. Okay, so I can only imagine what this game is going to look like in 4K. But you know, it's basically, and like I'm saying, you know, these other developers, you're not going to be able to put out garbage, or you're not going to. They have set a standard. Okay, they have set a standard that they're not going to have a choice, because now the fans and the people who are in the DCS community are looking at this trailer, and everyone else who's building these aircraft, and there are a lot of other aircraft that are being developed, they're going to have to step it up to this standard, because this is just amazing. Okay, this just looks phenomenal, and this is probably the closest that any of us are going to get to flying an F-14, because keep in mind the F-14 has since been retired. It's been retired for pushing 10, 11 years now. There's only one other country that flies F-14s, and that's Iran. So something tells me none of us are going to get to go to Iran to fly F-14s. Okay, granted, I want to say half of their fleet is probably what we call non-mission capable, or NMC, in the Air Force. I believe half of their fleet is pretty much used as spare parts at this point. But I do know a significant amount of the fleet is still flyable. That much I do know. So we'll just have to see on how that is. So you can at least expect to see, you know, Iranian livery in the game. Hopefully they will. They're the only other country today currently flying F-14s. It was only the United States and Iran. Now I'm not going to get into that. You can Google why Iran has F-14s. But spoiler, you know, the long story short, they used to be friendly. They had a regime change, and then overnight they became adversaries, and that's basically what happened. But regardless, you know, I've gotten a little bit off point here. This looks amazing. Now, the kind of a good thing, but it's bad. I mean, I believe they said it's going to be about December time frame. Well, that's kind of good, because October is going to be a rough month for me, because now you got the Black Ops 4 coming out. You've got Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out. There's I don't give a shit about Battlefield. There's probably going to be like a whopping 20 people who buys Battlefield. I mean, that's not going to sell. That's going to bomb. It's not going to be able to compete. It is what it is. Okay. You know, I just bought. I'm going to have to invest in Track IR, because I don't have it yet. But after watching this trailer, that's a definite priority. I'm also looking at upgrading my graphics card as well. Now that the prices have severely dropped, I'm looking at maybe a 1070. But who knows? I might even go for a 1080 at this point. But anyway, like I was saying, get back on point here. This thing looked phenomenal. You can tell they took their time, and I greatly appreciate that. This is what we as gamers should expect from these developers. This right here. Okay? I'm so sick and tired of people just accepting garbage. Okay? And DCS, I love what's in the DCS community, but just in the gaming community as a whole, this is what we should expect from these guys. And if you expect this, then this is what we're gonna get. Okay? Anyway, let me know how you feel. You know, do you think this is gonna be great? You know, regardless of what your comments are, leave them down below. Go ahead and hit that. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time.